Okay, now for one of my favourite ever applications of conditional probability. It's medical testing. It's a super interesting result, and it has massive applications in the field of medical research, because what do? Well, people come in and they get tested for diseases, and you want to know what's the probability they actually have a disease. So have a look at this. I absolutely love it. Crazy result. Do stick around. So here's the scenario. A rare disease is known to affect 1% of the population. You go to a hospital to be tested to see if you have it. The device used to test you gives a correct diagnosis 95% of the time. So all testing devices just get it wrong sometimes. So this one is 95% reliable. 19 out of 20 people get told the right result. The test comes back positive. What is the probability that you do in fact have the disease? Most people's intuition, I think, is there's a 95% chance, right? Because you've got this 95% reliable test and it says you have the disease. So it feels like there's a 95% chance that you have it. I mean, that seems sensible. All right, let's actually see. So let's be precise then about what we're asking. So you either have the disease or you don't. Let's see that D is the event that you have the disease. Or you don't, and D dash will be that. And let's say that the test either comes back positive, P, or negative, not P, not positive. So can we draw a tree diagram to represent this? Well, the kind of independent starting point would be whether you have the disease or not. You either have the disease or you don't. We don't know which yet. So we know that in the general population, it's 1% of the population have it. So there is a 0.01 chance that you have the disease before you have the test, right? So that's just as you walk into the clinic, you know there's a 1% chance you have it. And therefore there is a 99% chance that you don't have it. Now, the test will either give you a positive result, P, or a negative result, not P. And equally, if you don't have the disease, it will either give you a positive result, that will be when it goes wrong, or a negative result, which would be the correct one if you don't have it. So what are the probabilities here? Well, it gets it right 95% of the time. So if you do have the disease, it will give you a positive result 95% of the time, but 5% of the time it will get it wrong. You have the disease, but it tells you that you don't. And if you don't have the disease, then 95% of the time it will tell you the correct answer, which is that you don't have it, i.e. it's not a positive result. So 95% of the time, if you don't have the disease, it will correctly tell you that you don't. But 5% of the time it will get it wrong and tell you that you have the disease. So you've got these four different outcomes. You either have the disease and it correctly gives you a positive result, or you have the disease but it incorrectly tells you that you don't have it. Or you don't have the disease and it incorrectly tells you you've got it, or you don't have the disease and it correctly says you haven't got it. So what are we asking? The test comes back positive, so it is given that you get a positive result. So what is the probability that you have the disease given that you got a positive result? That's what we're actually trying to work out. So we know from our conditional probability formula that this is the probability that you have the disease and you get a positive result divided by the probability that you have a positive result. So firstly, what's the probability of having a positive result? Well, the probability of having a positive result, P of P, apologies for the letters there, was either you have the disease and get a positive result, and so the probability of that is 0.01 times 0.95, or that you don't have the disease and you get a positive result, which is 0.99 times 0.05. Key all of that into the calculator, 0.01 times 0.95 plus 0.99 times 0.01. So that is 0.059. So just in general, there is a 0.059 chance that you get a positive result. So that's what we're dividing by. And then our numerator is probability of D and P. That's the probability that you have the disease and you get a positive result. Well, probability that you have the disease and you get a positive result is just multiplying up those branches. So 0.01 times 0.95, which is 0.0095. So that's what's going up here, 0.0095. Do this calculation, and what do we get? 0.0095 divided by 0.059 is 0.16. That is, there is only a 16% chance that you have the disease. That is, you probably don't have the disease. So think about how crazy that actually is. There's this rare disease. You're getting a test. The test is correct 95% of the time. It tells you that you've got it. This machine which gets things right 95% of the time. It tells you you have it, and yet there's still only a 16% chance that you have it. So what's the explanation? Well, basically, there are just way more people. The disease is so rare that it's just way more common to not have the disease and get told incorrectly that you have it than having the disease and being correctly told that you've got it. That's kind of it. It's just, you imagine 1,000 people going in, just more of them would be people who don't have it and got incorrectly told that they do than people who actually have it and get told they do. Now, this has huge implications in medicine. So all medical tests, they need to know how good the test is, because if they don't know how good the test is, they don't actually know what the chance is that someone actually has the disease. Those two things, how rare is the disease and how accurate is your testing equipment, has a huge effect on how we actually carry medical tests out in the real world. Anyway, I love that example. It's really counterintuitive, and it shows why understanding conditional probability actually matters, like life or death actually matters out in the real world. All right, we're going to keep exploring conditional probability in new contexts in the next video, so I'll see you there.